Hello there, I'm back with my second video, this time looking at my Age of Extinction and the Last Night Bayformers stuff. I'm going to move quick as for some reason this seems to take longer to go through than my bigger collection from the first three movies. Here we got the Last Night Slug, nice, better than the Age of Extinction version which was fully purple. Got a bit of mold degradation, but I have a spare this time in 2018. There's a train, fantastic. This time in 2018, they did a big clearance on the Last Night stuff around Christmas. I got a spare, I'll customize the worst one at some point. Here's the Dark of the Moon Human Alliance Swoop, I think it was something as a part of that line. It's sort of just my stand-in baby Dinobot, but I'll go on about that a bit later. Here we have the Last Night Squeaks, who looks like it's either December 1st or that he's been lifting, but no, that's just a Decepticon arm because he lost his original. Here's a cool figure, kind of let down by his dirt effects because they look more like poop. They're only on particular parts, they're too thick and kind of look deliberate, but yeah, they tried and I'm sure they still did a better job than I ever could. So then we have Age of Extinction Drift. It's cool, turns into a Bugatti Veyron. A darker blue, like the 5-pack Autobot United exclusive version would have been better, but it's still nice. I don't currently have the Studio Series helicopter one, I only have the original Age of Extinction one. Age of Extinction one's, because it's of an old mold from Dark of the Moon, it's huge, it looks ridiculous in robot mode, so won't be displaying that. I'll get the helicopter one if I ever see it again. I haven't seen it much recently. Then the Last Night Drift, he's cool. They flipped the transformation around in a stroke of genius and then turned him into a Mercedes instead. Also a smart move in terms of production. It only cost $100,000, whereas the Bugatti cost $1 million. So I would have done the same if I was making the movie. Yeah, regardless of that, he's a cool figure, but he's let down by the bright red they molded him in. A dark red would have been far superior, or a black with red highlights in my opinion. But he's got a nice updated head sculpt. Yeah, his quality control is quite rubbish though in my opinion. His flat black paint has gone sticky in the hot weather and humidity, and he fell over last night and a big sliver chipped out of his spoiler. But I have a spare like Slug, so whichever the worst one will be customized for better or worse. Moving on, Age of Extinction Crosshairs. He's one that suffered by them like upping the complexity of the designs, but then Hasbro simplifying when Age of Extinction started. So he's kind of ended up a shell former, as they call it. Lots of car kibble hanging off him. But it was an innovative design giving him a trench coat, another train. The rubber sort of tabs into the chest, but that's just tearing waiting to happen. I'm sure the rubber will go sticky, but yeah. The feet too, he actually has heels, which I only just discovered after 6.5 years last night, because the Last Night version, which I had and just standing up all generally, kept falling over, and I was like, why is it doing this? And I realized they hadn't put their heel spurs out. Yeah, the Last Night version's a lot better. Trench coat isn't rubber, it doesn't plug in, it's painted. He's much sleeker and just nicer looking overall. Much better figure. Still could have done with the painted goggles though, but oh well. Next we have Steelbane from the Last Night. He's the knight that gave Kay the talisman. He had a more humanoid face, but he's a pretty cool figure. Turns into some random weird long neck dragon thing. Then we've got Strafe. Same deal with the paint as Slug. My favourite Dinobot. Yeah, didn't actually see him in the Last Night though, so that was kind of disappointing. Moving on, we have Coglin from the Last Night. Present from my friend Tom. Shout out to him if he's watching. Yeah, cool figure. Of course, they weren't probably going to do one that was like human butler sized, like in the film. But it's really nice this version has silver paint, the Studio Series, unlike the original. It's probably what it should have been in the first place, but you know, what are you going to do? I've almost tipped over a figure. Moving on, almost tipped over another figure. Here with Age of Extinction High Octane Bumblebee. This is my first Age of Extinction figure. Really love it. I was super hyped for Age of Extinction. Most have ever been about Transformers before. It's a good figure. It's a gunmetal grey plastic, albeit that should be in other places, like the legs, as it is on the arms, and some black on the arms. But they did do some new stuff, like these collarbones, and they did a different approach to the armor, which I appreciated. Moving on, we have the Age of Extinction Bumblebee, the concept Chimera version. This is cool, sentimental. A relative picked it up for me on a business trip in Hong Kong. Yeah, I got it earlier than most people because it was released super early there. Got it, made a quick stop motion before I went to school camp. Worst stop motion I ever made, but the one that blew up more than any other, Murphy's Law. But it was cool, considering the size. It was like the first Bumblebee, and possibly still the only, that has a flip down battle mask and this flip out gun, so I really like it. Then we have the Last Night Bumblebee here, who looks like he's seen some shit. Yeah, he's cool. He was like a $12 find in Coles, so that was great, because he basically didn't get a proper release in Australia for some random reason. I was kind of disappointed that they reneged on this Stinger look and basically went back to the original. As much as I prefer the original, I thought they'd take some of it back. It'd be Bumblebee kind of getting back to himself, like they had in the concept art and some earlier toys. But no, they just completely scrapped it. In saying that though, it's one of the better Bumblebees, and it comes with a swappable cannon arm, albeit on the wrong hand. I have the Takara movie best Warhammer Bumblebee, which is more orange, has a right hand cannon and a Warhammer, but he's blown up in value, so I won't be opening him. I mean, if you've kept it boxed for like 3 years now, why bother? Then I've got, puts fingertip in front of camera. Then I've got the Last Night Scorn, lovely upgrade from the deluxe of Age of Extinction. Looks great, did a bit of silver weathering, more would have been better and more accurate, but it's just a lovely figure, one of my favourite Dinobots. Then we've got Age of Extinction Hound. He's cool. Rubber head allows the beard to kind of be animated when you twist it. Tons of weapons. Mine has super loose hips though. Was never able to do a stop motion with it even though I wanted to. Back in old 2014. Then we had the Last Night Hound. Much better, much more accurate. Removable helmet, but a pain in the butt to transform. I hate transforming that figure. Doesn't matter how good it is, it's not fun to transform. Moving on, we've got Age of Extinction, Evasion Mode Optimus Prime. One of the better Optimus Prime movie figures, turns into a flat-nosed truck, first and only time in the films for Optimus. Well, at least if you don't count Bumblebee, of course. Bayformers-wise. Not rusty, G1 colour scheme, but they did repaints. Really intuitive transformation, just looks cool. Then you've got the Last Night Voyager Optimus here. He's cool as well, probably the least amount of backpack for the Night Optimus design. I've got a spare to customize of him as well. Then here we've got the Takara Armor Knight Optimus Prime, the second version they made of this mold. He's awesome, changeable faceplate in the head. He's got the accurate chest, better looking weapons, metallic chrome, but chrome in spots that don't get scratched as easily, unlike Buster Optimus I showed in my last video. Love that figure, one of my gems in my collection. Also, Age of Extinction Grimlock. He's the best Dinobot in my opinion, just because they nailed the paint job and the fake T-Rex head as well, which was a bizarre design choice, but cool nonetheless. Move over this guy that was trying to knock over everything. Here we got Age of Extinction Lockdown. Not super accurate, but he does have gun face. Was a Roadbuster Dark of the Moon, like remolding. I got him during a hard time, so really love him, and Lockdown's my favourite Bayformer. Moving on though, Studio Series Lockdown, I call this one Letdown though, because it was made incorrectly and can't transform at all, but it's got a much better looking face sculpt and things, far more accurate, so yeah, hoping to replace it, because I've got Shadow Raider, he's kind of ship drone dude, who can also be used as a KSI drone for Galvatron, but because of the bright orange Lamborghini mode, but he transforms and this guy doesn't, even though this guy doesn't need to transform because of like his role in the movie. So Murphy's Law, I would prefer Lockdown could transform. Then we've got Lockdown's Doggo Steeljaw, who yeah, he he set on the Jaegers and the Autobots and such in the night ship when he had intruders on his ship. It's just a one-step one, but as far as I know, it's all that was officially made, so cool. Then I've got a Vehicon, which turns into one of the rally cars from the Texas Chase from Cemetery Wind. I like they gave us the rally car. Would have been cool for them to give us a Chevrolet Trax as well, so we kind of had the actual Vehicons from the film, but never mind, from KSI. Stinger, Studio Series, most accurate one. Not that there's many. I hope they remold this into Age of Extinction Bumblebee and give us a more accurate one of them at some point. Speaking of Age of Extinction Bumblebee, this is the Takara repaint, which they made in the Stinger early 2015. Back when we had Toys R Us, they used to do these really cool special deals where we get these sorts of things from Japan. They did the same with a Legends RC figure. This is cool, like a nice metallic red and really well painted. Was, you know, the best thing we could get at the time, so it was really nice. Then to finish off the KSI bots, we've got Age of Extinction Galvatron. Really bland figure in terms of paint apps and the fact that he's a shell former of a flattened truck on his back. I'd hope they'd give us a better version, but then they made these Megatrons in the last night, redesigned him by Galvatron, which is a bit disappointing in terms of just getting a good Galvatron figure, but my hope is we'll eventually get a nice one in the Studio Series. Moving on. Here we have the Last Night Barricade. His police baton, his 4 eyes, which were kind of more like sirens in the movies, like one pair red, one pair blue. He's cool, sometimes call him Barry. Decent mold, just horrible backpack. Then here we've got Berserker, who was known for his 1 second of screen time and telling us he'd suck our brains, whatever that means. Yeah, he's cool enough. He kind of stands on tippy toes and not well, so he looks like a ballerina to me. Yeah, but it was nice to get some of Megatron's crew since they didn't bother giving us the rest. I've realised I missed some Autobots. Here I've got the World War II Bumblebee, World War II Hot Rod. World War II Bumblebee, mine doesn't transform properly. They mismade the Warhammer that turns into a cannon. So my hope is to get the one that comes out in the new Bumblebee line and, I don't know, flick this somehow, customise it, sell it. Of course, saying that it's dodgy. But yeah, then we've also got that Hot Rod. This is the only Hot Rod I've seen in Australia. The Last Night one was a lazy remold of that Lockdown from Age of Extinction I showed earlier, a bit bigger, and never saw the light of day here, to my knowledge. Should have ordered it online, but you know, you'd wish it show up somewhere instead of paying a ton for it. Then we've got here the Last Night Nitro Zeus, or Nitro as he was known. I love him. He's more the KSI Sentry in terms of design, like the big KSI bot that was helping Galvatron. I wish they gave him like at least a swappable head for Shockwave, but he's like my favorite new Decepticon. And yeah, he's really cool. They've done like a silver repaint in the Studio Series. Yeah, done a silver repaint in the Studio Series. However, I'm not paying $50 for like what it should have been in the first place. If I ever see it super cheap, I'd grab it, maybe customize one of them and make this one, probably do a silver Shockwave, more Shockwave head for the Studio Series and turn this into a KSI Sentry, but it is what it is. I've heard rumors or fan theories that he was a KSI Sentry that modified himself because he heard war stories of Shockwave. That sounds really cool. Here we've got Dark of the Moon Crankcase, aka lazy repaint of Crowbar. It's my stand-in for Dreadbot, who turned into a purple rusty VW Combi, which would have been awesome, but yeah. If they really wanted to make a Dark of the Moon Crankcase, they should have just repainted Berserker, not done this, but this is just a stand-in. If there's ever a Dreadbot released, I doubt it, because he was just a CGI reuse. Yeah, I'd be happy to get it or customize or something, but we'll see. My customizing skills need to improve before then. Then finally, the second last but not least, we have the Last Night Voyager Megatron. This is my favorite Megatron design, probably my favorite design from the new films. It may be tied with Lockdown. It's awesome. Turn him into like a barbarian knight. He has the proper fusion cannon, not that you can see it. Intuitive transformation, wonderful. Also have a spare, might customize it one day. It's probably one of my favorite figures on this shelf. Actually, last but not least, the Leader class Megatron. Not as good as the Voyager, it's still a really nice figure. Actually has that, I'll take it in as close as I can. Actually has that face mask as a movie, but no tattoo from Quintessa or marking. Yeah, he has like a flamethrower piece, which is cool, coming out his fusion cannon. Also nice just to actually get Leader class Megatron. Give the big bad the attention he deserves. Another train, was that the third one? Yeah, but he's really cool. If I ever got the chance to get the movie Best one, which I saw once at a convention, I'd get it because it's got like a more weathered, better looking paint job and the red marking, which I really like. But yeah, not to worry. I ordered him overseas because the actual like normal regular Hasbro release took too long. Then I ordered it from Big Bad Toy Store. All of a sudden, there it is in Zing, but you know, Murphy's Law as such. Anyway though, I hope you guys enjoyed the look at the rest of my Bayformers collection. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.